And yay! Hello, everybody. Now I am live on YouTube as well. And I am on to do another live Q&A for Inspired Keys Academy Worship Academy members Worship Keys live Q&A. And so this basically is a time where I answer questions from the Inspired Keys Academy members. And David Franklin's in the house. Hello, David. Let me just type this in here. Watch this to see what I play. Okay, so basically, we are 1 minute early today. Wonderful, wonderful, awesome. Yep, so basically I do this. Hello, oh my gosh. Now we've got a new Inspired Keys Academy member, and please could you help me? I'm not sure if your name is pronounced Cel or Chel, but I know it's spelled C-E-L, and I really want to warmly welcome you, but please help me on how to pronounce your name. So yeah, basically we are 1 minute early, so I'm just gonna chill a tiny bit and say welcome to everybody watching, and let everybody know. Actually, I would, oh my gosh, did you hear that? We've got some extremely strong winds happening there. Should I risk turning my camera to the side so you can see my window? I've got lots of cables plugged in. I should probably take a video of how this whole thing looks here. Basically, it is springtime. Woohoo! Those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, you are probably about to enter autumn. And I guess you might be welcoming the warm weather, but for us here in Australia, it is finally getting a little bit warm. Oh, Cel, hey, thanks a lot. Cel, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. You taught me how to pronounce your name. Cel, huge welcome to you and thank you for joining. Okay, now that it's officially 10 o'clock, I do want to welcome everybody. And I just want to explain very quickly how this works. Okay, so basically you will see that there are two kinds of live videos that I'm doing at the moment. I have a live Facebook video, and this is happening inside our Inspired Keys Academy members only Facebook group. Okay, so that means you only get to join this if you've joined the Inspired Keys Academy. And we have a live chat going on at the side. And those of you who are watching, I know there are 3 people watching, although I can't be sure who exactly you 3 are. I know David's here and Cel's here, and whoever else joins us inside our Inspired Keys Academy, you are very welcome to ask your Worship Keys questions with priority in our Facebook Live chat. Okay, so if you're watching here and whenever you jump into this live video, because it's going to be about maybe 1 hour plus, as usual, it takes quite a bit of time. Please pop in your Worship Keys questions because I really want to honor you for taking the time to join us live, and I want to answer your questions with priority. But sometimes, Adam, hello, Adam, welcome. So Adam's just joined us as well. But if I see that there are no questions being asked in our Facebook live chat, then I will go ahead and answer some questions that have already been asked over the last 2 to 3 weeks. So basically, people ask me in the Inspired Keys Academy, the questions could come as critique my video, or how do I play this, or how do I practice this? So I've got them all compiled in a little notebook on my Evernote app, and I will go through the list. So then, of course, I'm also live on YouTube. So some of you here, you might be watching me on YouTube live right now, and you are I am doing that because YouTube allows me to share the screen of my app called Cordy, and that app allows me to show you what I am playing, which is very important if you want to watch me live and then you just see me kind of doodling around, but you don't know what I'm playing. That's not very helpful. So that's why those of you who joined us in the Inspired Keys Academy, you are very welcome to click the YouTube link that I've got right at the top of the chat. That way you can see what I'm playing there as well. Teresa's in the house. Tracy's in the house. Oh my gosh. Yes. Adam, I can see your messages. So all of you who are here, it's a bit of a little party in here. Welcome and thank you again for joining. Now, those of you who are live in our Inspired Keys Academy Facebook group, please pop in your Worship Keys questions in our live chat. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Adam. Hello, Teresa. Hello, David. And hello, Cel. Awesome. So can't wait to see more people and to answer your questions. what I will do now before I forget is to start the share screen on my YouTube Live, because that way you will also see what I am playing. So I am now just going to put on Cordy as the screen that you see. Okay, guys, if you go to my YouTube link right now, you will see that I am on my Cordy app. Okay, so I basically have that set up. Okay, so cool. Everything's there. And so you can basically perhaps open two different browser tabs, and then you can sort of see the live chat on one and the Cordy app on another with the YouTube link. So that way you can see what I'm playing. Today I've got quite a few questions to answer, but before I jump in, I do want to let everybody know real quick that I am recording the screen of today's Q&A. So what I've come to realize is this broadcast can lag a little bit on YouTube. So even though everything I do right now that I play is recorded on YouTube Live as a video that you can replay, it lags a little bit. So what I'm doing now is that on my own computer, I am recording the screen, and I've checked. My computer has about 40 gigs of free space, so it should not crash like it did previously. And you should be able to, I will be able to upload the recording that I have on my computer where you could see what I play without any lagging. Now, this video is only going to be accessible inside the Inspired Keys Academy as well. And those of you who are joining us on YouTube Live, I really want to warmly welcome you as well. I also want to announce that the Inspired Keys YouTube channel is celebrating its 4th birthday. Woohoo! So time has really flown by. I started the YouTube channel sometime in September, maybe August of 2014, and posted first videos on the 6th of September. Didn't know what scheduling videos was about. Basically, I just kind of put I don't know, like 10 different videos up in one shot, which is bad YouTube practice. But you could go see, it's really like low tech. And even then, 4 years ago, people were doing all sorts of high tech stuff, but I didn't know how to get started. I didn't really have a budget, and I know I just have stuff that I want to share. And I just whipped out my Samsung Note 3 phone. I've since upgraded to a good old iPhone right now, but basically, I just got this really cheap kind of hanging stuff that I've attached to my shelf, and then I've kind of just in a very unprofessional manner pressed to record on my video screen app, and then just kind of recorded it. And I was using my 40-year-old piano. It's like terrible conditions. Never buy a secondhand piano that's too old. The problem is it could look really good on the outside, but you never know what's going on inside. We've got strings that were about to snap. We've got pegs that were really loose. So even though if we tighten it to the correct pitch, it just loosens within a few days. So that was a really classic sort of unglam first video thing. So if you guys want to check it out, just go to my YouTube channel and go to the super first video many pages before. Also, I want to let you know that because we are celebrating the 4th birthday of Inspired Keys YouTube channel, I am running a massive discount on the Inspired Keys Academy annual membership. What you got to do is to click the link that I will put on the YouTube live chat, and also to use a discount code so that you can join the annual membership for $249 instead of the usual $399. So I'm just going to take a minute to do that right now and to post the link on our YouTube. Hang on, let's see how I should do this. Yes, I've got a chat on the side. Yep, I just wanted to say just a sec. InspiredKeys.com. Okay, and basically, yep. Okay, so if you go to inspiredkeys.join, and then you can use the discount code Happy 4th, and you are very welcome to join the annual membership for just $249 instead of $399. So that's a massive discount. It's only going to happen for a week because we're celebrating the Inspired Keys 4th birthday. So do go ahead and join me if you can, and join all these awesome people inside the Inspired Keys Academy as well. I do want to say hi to okay, so no one new has joined in, but I do have a question that Adam is asking. So I'm just going to go ahead and answer Adam's question right now, the first question of today's live Q&A. Adam says, I saw your video on that worship sound and you were controlling the dials and knobs from your MIDI controller instead of the laptop. So how is this set up? Yeah, that's a really good question. So basically, if you were to use something like MainStage, which is a software, a live performing software, you could connect it to your keyboard or MIDI controller, which the difference really is that a MIDI controller, such as this one, maybe I will just lift it up and show you guys. I have a Novation Launch key, and it's what we call a dummy keyboard. It's very light, but it has no sounds in itself at all. So I got to connect it to a laptop in order to make it come to life, so to speak. And so what you do is when you start using MainStage, you gotta map the hardware to the software. So if Adam, I'm gonna direct you to our MainStage course, and in the course during the first few videos you will see exactly how I connect software to hardware. Basically what you do is you go to the editing tab on the if you hit Command 1, you're going to go to the editing tab inside MainStage. You click, for example, the keyboard picture on the screen of the laptop, of your laptop, and then you got to turn on assign, which make sure the assign button's red. And then when you play on the hardware keyboard, and if it moves on the image on your laptop screen, basically that means it's connected. So then you do the same for everything. You do the same for every knob, every slider, every fader, even the sustain pedal, and every drum pad. And basically that will connect and help your software and hardware to communicate. So what you then do is you don't even need to connect to touch your computer at all. Basically, everything is now mapped onto your hardware, and you just have to move the slider, the fader, the knobs on your MIDI controller or any other hardware tool you're using, and you can change sounds, you can change effects on the go during a live performance. That's really helpful because you don't really want to squint onto the computer screen and, you know, like use the mouse pad and stuff. That's quite high risk, and you may not have time to do that if you need to make changes really quickly, as can happen in a lot of worship songs. So Adam, I would like to direct you to the MainStage course. I am actually just popping here on my physical notebook. So I'll remember to post that link to you, send that link to you at the end of this live Q&A. But if you want, you can also just go into the Inspired Keys Academy course forum post, and then you can just go in there and search for the very basic MainStage course, and it is all there for you. So great, I don't see any other questions on our live chat. So what I am gonna do is to look for my first question to answer, which is from Daniel. So Daniel is really awesome. He has posted 2 videos so far, and this is the second video which I am going to give a critique of. So it is Hillsong's Shadow Step, and I am going to play a little bit of his video, and then we can listen to it, and I'm going to give some feedback to it. You met me at the Okay, cool. So it's a pretty long video. So basically, I'm just going to pause right here. And Daniel, all I got to say is you might want to use the Everlasting 1 and 5, which is a really convenient way to sound pretty good. So currently, I notice that you're using your sort of classic chord shapes where you're like da 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 da. Right? So basically, you still have your top note kind of moving around a little bit. Try this, Daniel. Try just having your right hand going. Right, literally just on the 5 and the 1. So we're in the key of E major, and so maybe da 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 da. Okay, so basically I'm just doing a lot of left hand movement. Right? So try having your right hand just really doing a lot of 5s and 1s. And then when that gets boring, you can just invert that. So now instead of just that, you can have that during the, I would recommend going up there during the first chorus. Da, 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 right? So basically my left hand is just doing, I remember the song being a bit upbeat. So it's like, da, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it's basically just 4 notes to emulate the sound of the drums, and the beat's pretty upbeat. So I'm just going to go straight on with the rest of yeah, so can you hear how there is this guitar line that kind of goes dong, 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 dong. So that's something we could copy. Now, it really depends on whether you're playing in a band. If you are in a band and there's another person who is doing the dong, 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 you don't really want to steal the limelight of that person, so let that person do it. It's fresh to listen to another instrument do something as well. But if there's nobody else, and if you're playing the piano by yourself and it's maybe like a worship in a cell group context, then I might do literally just on repeat. Really, just copy. Sometimes our job it really is just to be a copycat, right? to the worship songs. Yeah, so I think for this section it would be really good if you can have some kind of movement. Okay, currently it's just dong, dong. And also remember that the nature of piano sounds is that there is an automatic decrescendo. So when we play something, it really doesn't last very long unless you're able to combine 2 different sounds. And kudos to Teresa, who was able to recently discover how to put the piano and the pad sounds together on her Yamaha MN8, I think. So well done. That means really you can kind of hold something and the pad sustains it for you at the same loudness. It doesn't get softer. So that really helps with not having to overplay, because sometimes we play a lot to create a continuous sound, right? And then that just kind of sometimes makes an otherwise still song a bit too busy with a lot of movement. So gonna jump right on to the next section now in Daniel's video. Okay, so Daniel, at this point, I am now at like the second chorus. So Daniel's doing, right? So that's like 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3. And the problem with that, and that's a really good kind of a chord progression and groove generally, but then you do want to listen to what's actually happening in this song. So from what I'm listening to, Daniel, I feel that shadow step is a very 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like the accents are on the normal regular beats instead of the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I would personally, for the second chorus, do syncopation. Syncopation just means an accent on the weak beat. I might do my left hand, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So that's the only accent I'll do. So I will probably use this group. Yeah, I just feel like that's a little bit more in sync with the style of Shadow Step as a song. Okay, gonna move on to the next section. Okay, so at this is the bridge section, and Daniel was kind of echoing what the tune was happening like. So the singing, the melody of the line that was sung was being played on the right hand. So I personally feel that would not be necessary just because someone's actually singing it, unless you're playing an instrumental version, right? So pretend no one's singing at all and your right hand has to emulate the melody line, then I will suggest doing that. But if someone's actually singing, I might actually just kind of hold on to the chords really still. So da 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 da. Right, so don't be afraid of doing very little, because when you've got a lot of movement and then suddenly you do very little and you just hold the chord really long and let the music kind of stretch over a long time, it's the contrast factor that makes it sound pretty good. So just enjoy the stillness for the moment. So yeah, that's what I would do differently for the bridge section. Yep, so then we come back into the chorus after the bridge, which I feel is where you could have more movement again. If you listen to the recording, the electric guitarist just goes crazy again, goes down, 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 down. So I can hear that, and I think that's where you can start doing a little bit more on the piano as well. And moving on to the next sections. Yeah, pretty much. I really like what you're doing. I think what you're doing sounds pretty good. But in terms of groove, maybe you can try the one where I talked earlier about the right hand playing on the regular beats. Moving on to maybe the last bits. Cool. I'm not sure if it actually ended on an A. I thought it ended on an E actually, but this is like a small thing. And when you do it in your worship set, you guys might change the ending chords anyway. It's typically ending on a 1 or a 4. So in the key of E major, it would be 1 would be an E chord or a 4 would be an A chord. So, but otherwise I really like what you did. So Daniel, well done again. I cannot wait to hear your next recording. Well done and congratulations. I'm just going to go quickly now to our Facebook live chat to see if there are any questions. Cool, no other questions from our people watching live. So basically I am moving on to my next thing on the list. So basically, guys, I would like to, before answering the next question, let you know that the Inspired Keys Academy is having a massive scale because Inspired Keys is turning 4 on the 6th of September. That would be 2 days from now. And to celebrate this massive, massive birthday, I'm doing a huge discount on the annual membership of the Inspired Keys Academy. So go ahead and go to inspiredkeys.com/join and then enter the discount code HAPPY4TH, and that would be HAPPY4TH. And what you will get is a $249 membership price. Happy 4th, and that would be HAPPY4TH. oh my gosh, I basically just copied and pasted the YouTube link, and yeah, I can see that it got pretty loud. So yeah, I'm actually just gonna type that again. Go to inspiredkeys.com/join and use discount code Happy 4th for the annual membership. Okay, so yep, so those of you who are watching us live right now, you are very welcome to join our Inspired Keys Academy membership for just $249. Otherwise, the annual membership price is $399, and this discount runs for only 1 week. All right, I'm just going to go straight on with our next question on our live Q&A questions, and this is a question by Darlene. Darlene is really cool. She recently made it for her Hillsong Cape Town church worship audition. So congratulations, Darlene! And to my surprise, their audition song is actually Let Go from Hillsong Young and Free, which in my opinion isn't the easiest song in the world. So I think the standards are pretty high in Hillsong Cape Town. So kudos to you guys in Hillsong Cape Town. Kudos to you, Darlene. She actually got into the worship ministry, but I am still going to give her give a critique of how she played Let Go from Hillsong Young and Free on the piano. So I am going to press play on her recording and let's begin the critique.
Nailed it. Let's move on. Here we go. Last shot. It was rolling. I close my eyes and colors fly. There's no hiding from your grace. I can't deny your heart for mine. It's unrelenting.
Yep, so Darlene sounds amazing already to me, at least. Okay, so everything's in C major. So what I'm hearing, Darlene, is at this very opening section, this is probably verse 1, right? I think what you're doing is... Okay, so that's what I think you're doing. But what I'm hearing is the bass line is actually going dum, 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 dum. So what you might want to do is to play your left hand on the regular beat as well. So... I mean, this is a disclaimer. I feel that this song is not really a piano-driven kind of song. It's not a very piano-y song, right? I mean, if you go listen to Let Go from Hillsong Young and Free, Hillsong Young and Free, by default, it's a very synthy, very dance genre type of band by nature. So unless there is absolutely no one else playing in the band, then I will suggest doing... I mean, certainly a piano playing that kind of bass line does not sound as good as a synth kind of bass, dance bass kind of sound that you could use with Mainstage, that you could reproduce with Mainstage. So I personally feel that I might prefer not doing that unless you're the only one playing. So yeah, just thought I will throw that opinion out there.
I was on the edge of deception.
Can I just say how it sounds really amazing at this point? So well done, Darlene. Yeah, so this is the part where I don't even know what the section is called. I guess it's a post-chorus. I don't think I heard your 2 chords at the when I let go and I found love. I'm not sure if I heard your chords there. I know I heard the first 2, which is the... Okay, hang on. I need to remember to put on my chordy on the screen. So I think I heard you play something like that. And then there are 2 more chords after that, which I didn't hear. I didn't hear... right? I don't think I heard that. So that's something you might want to play. Also, regarding the first two chords of this post-chorus section, what I might do is, I think I heard, right, which to me are very clean chords. When you have like a, like a pure D minor chord, I might actually do good old everlasting 1 and 5 again. It's actually easier because you just have to keep playing the 1 and 5. I might add in something different. So maybe instead of just, I might add in an F. So, and then when I let go, when I found love, oh no, and I let go, when I found love. So that's the way I will shape those chords right there. I absolutely love what you did. I think you're really well practiced, darling. You sound so good. Da 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 da. So what I'll do differently is, this is once again if you have a full band, okay? So right now I think it's right. So I think it will sound pretty good if for this section, because it's a very riff heavy moment, you could go an octave higher. So right, so that's nice if you have to play on the piano both hands. If you have a full band though, and you have to use a piano sound, which ideally you will not want to use a piano sound because it's not a piano kind of song. But if you have to use a piano sound, I will probably use both hands to play that riff in an octave. So I might do, I'll probably do that because I think it sounds really good when you can have a moment of a different kind of sound, a different kind of tone color. So the piano is amazing because when you play, that's like the middle register, they've got a high register. When you do both together, it creates, in my opinion, like a brand new instrument. It's got like the very cool sonorities of the medium and the high registers together. And even like, it's even like magical when you go an octave higher still, but in an octave. This is interesting. I was doing like a piano octave riff, exactly like what I was doing, an octave apart, but the same notes on both hands. And actually, if you really want to be like lazy, you could turn on the octave effect in main stage. Sunday Keys has that. A worship, I know they're called that, Worship Essentials has it as well. So just turn on the octave effect, and you just have to use one hand, and it sounds like an octave apart. And then I was just doing that, and then I've got someone who came to me like after the service going, Sandra, what was that sound? What instrument were you using for that riff? I'm like, it's an octave piano. And he could not believe that. So it's basically really cool. You should try that, especially if you have a full band, and see what people say. And whether, I know it's just going to sound very refreshing because when you have an octave higher up in that register, it really pierces through all the other instruments, and it sounds pretty amazing. So go ahead and try that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead with the rest of the song. Okay, so now we have progressed to the second verse, right? So, Darlene, I think you're still doing, right? So I think that's 2 notes on the right hand. Try at this point, because it's already the second verse, you might want to do something a little bit different. Maybe add 1 more note. Maybe try... notice that I just kept adding more C's to it. So I think that's going to thicken the sound a little bit. If you really want to, if you double with any of the 5s and the 1s, it probably would sound pretty good. What's important though is you do want the G sound on the top. Da on the top is pretty important. I might, if I have to thicken it up even more, I might do, nah, that's a bit too clashy. I might do a 5 at the bottom. So instead of having just, I'll probably do, like 2 more at the bottom, but that's only if I really want to thicken it really much. Yeah, I might do that. Will I be adventurous enough to do something else like? You know, that's only if you're really, really feeling very adventurous. But yeah, there are all kinds of possibilities, and sometimes I might just do that if I feel very tired of the usual sound. Okay, cool. So from what I remember, most of this part is the usual. So I'm going to skip to the next section because my comments will be the same as what I've said before. Oh my gosh, I just realized something. I am playing it off the Google Gmail itself. And the annoying thing is that I cannot move the song forward or backwards. So I've just downloaded it and I'm just going to play it off my iTunes at the moment. So I let go and I let love show me life like it's supposed to be. On oasis, here awaits us, all the freedom I'll ever need now. Okay, so at this point it's kind of where you have that mod wheel going really low and you have the filter that is being cut off. So I might do na 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 So instead of the usual kind of chord shapes, because Darlene, we would have heard this section a few times by now, and probably the third, because we've heard it the first time at verse 1 and first time at verse 2. This is, I guess, the no, chorus. This is a chorus section, right? Okay, sorry. If it's a chorus section, then we've really heard it quite a few times. But this is like the chorus where they start soft and then they're going to blow up later. So I think I would probably play it with a little bit more adventurous kind of voicings and chord shapes and tone colors. So instead of just da 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 da, I think that's really too clean and really like goody two shoes. Textbook, so I might do like I really like that, and then maybe I'm just playing that on my right hand. I might do like I like the sound of I really like that, so my right hand's just doing 4 notes, and then it's a really awesome song. Oh my gosh, I think I'm like kind of hooked to it. Oh, it sounds so good. And just any final comments about Darlene's recording? Okay, so at this section, because it's like, you know, we've heard it quite a few times, instead of doing, I might actually double up with the really a one on the top of my pinky hand, so I might do right? I just think that's going to add like a new layer of freshness to otherwise what would be something we've heard quite a few times. Yeah, so because this is quite repetitive, you could even go, because, yeah, so when something's too repetitive, you got to think about how to make it different every time. So at first it's, then I might add another G at the bottom to make it thick. And then the second time the third time I'll probably play a G on the top, so. Right, so then I'll probably add a C on top, like. And then maybe I will flip that up to even higher. So and then I might even change the tunes because we're all kind of like hearing da 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 so many times. So I might actually go into so da, 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 it's just like a fresh sound compared to 33443, which we've heard quite a few times. So really hope that helps, Darlene. Thank you so much for your question, and congratulations again for getting into the Hillsong Cape Town Worship Ministry. Woohoo! Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and look at our Facebook live chat to see if there are any questions. Bruce has joined us. Hello, Bruce. Once again, those of you who are watching live on our Facebook members only group, you're very welcome to pop in your worship keys questions and I will be answering them with priority. Otherwise, I will go through my list of questions that I've collected over the week. Those of you who are watching us live on YouTube, this is a members only live Q&A, so I am only going to answer questions from Inspired Keys Academy members. I do have some great news for you because Inspired Keys is celebrating its 4th birthday. You are very welcome to join our membership, our annual membership, for just $249 instead of the usual $399. Just use discount code Happy 4th to turn on the discounts. So the information is on the YouTube chat on the right, and this discount expires in a week on September 11th at 2359 hours Melbourne time. So don't miss out on this massive celebratory season with Inspired Keys. We have just turned 4. Woohoo! Okay, I am now also going to read a success story from our Inspired Keys Academy member, Teresa. So Teresa basically shares that she's been an Inspired Keys Academy member for about a month and a half, and she says, I believe that in the short period of time that I have had great improvements. I am better able to determine the key of a song. And after watching the altar call video, I was able to locate the warm pad and dual playing feature on my piano, on my keyboard, which is amazing. Congratulations to you, Teresa. I am getting better at playing both hands, melody and chords. Currently working on I Am Not Alone by Curry Joe, which I will be doing later as well. Thanks, Sandra Chan, for being available for questions on our live call and Facebook. It is very helpful. And Teresa, I am incredibly proud of you. So woohoo! I am celebrating your success with the rest of the Inspired Keys community. And I wanted to read that out because you have no idea how your success story can inspire and encourage other people. There might be a ton of us here who are watching this video right now and you're like, you're just working so hard and you don't feel like you're making any progress. Well, guess what? There are many others who are working just like you, just don't know where they are, or you have no idea that there are other people who are working just as hard. So when you join the Academy, you know that, hey, we're cheering each other on, and there are many of us who are trying to get better in our worship keys playing. So congratulations, Teresa, and that is no mean feat. So well done again. So, okay, so no questions from our Facebook live chat, which means I'm gonna go straight on with our next question. And the next question is from Alfonso. Alfonso, Inspired Keys Academy member, Alfonso says, I find it difficult to sing and play together. I find it hard to sing on the rhythm as I miss the rhythm while singing. I need more simplified videos. I find it more difficult when the same measure has a whole note, half note, and dotted notes. So Alfonso, what I will say is, playing and singing together is very difficult because you are using two different organs, so to speak. Our body becomes our body becomes two different instruments, right? When we sing, the voice is one instrument. When we play, it's another instrument. So you're kind of juggling two pieces of information together, and that is very difficult. So for any of you who are watching this and you're struggling with singing and playing together, I will suggest maybe don't do it yet. Get really good with the singing only first, and then get really good with the playing. Because when you're able to do both, we're not even saying getting it okay level. We're saying very good level. When you're very good at it, then you have the capacity to put in the information together. And even then, you might need to simplify. If I were to play and sing a song, my accompaniment will probably be extremely easy. We're talking just kind of comping on like a few notes or maybe just the regular chords every time. So maybe if I were to sing Let Go, and I don't have the lyrics, so I'm just going to go like la-di-da. Da, 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 can you see how I can't really do both very well? I mean, I probably can if I would spend an hour working on this song and really practicing. But I guess this is just, it's a natural thing, Alfonso. Don't be discouraged that it's hard to do both well. Practicing will definitely help. And you might want to really work on the rhythm when you're singing so that you really get your rhythms right first. Until you're able to get both to a really proficient level, I will suggest don't do playing and singing together yet. Get someone else to sing. You can play, or maybe get someone else to play and then you just sing. So focus on one thing and do one thing well instead of doing two things, but doing both things bad. So yeah, would rather do one thing well than having something bad that ends up something more complex, but more that doesn't sound so good. The next question from Alfonso is, okay, so he's asking for more simple video lessons on fills and empty spaces. So we do have that inside the Inspired Keys Academy on fillers and what to do during empty spaces. So I shall link that for you. And then the next thing is, what are the easy methods to recognize 3/4, 4/4, and 2/4 rhythms when we listen to songs? Okay, so here's where we get into a bit of time signature stuff. Okay, so when you have a time signature that's something like 2/4, what you do is this: you go like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you just kind of repeat 1 and 2, right? And then you want to feel the accent on the first beat. So the first beat is being 1 all the time. So then you want to say ones a bit louder. So 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. And of course, I'm just giving a very generic tempo here, but you could always listen to the song, and if the song's slower, you could go 1, 2, 1, 2. So that would be the key difference between 2/4 and 4/4, where 4/4 has 4 beats in a bar. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1 is very important. It is pretty much the determining factor on what the time signature is. And so if it's 3/4, then it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So when we listen to a song, we need to kind of listen to the accented beat, like where is the strong 1, okay? And then when you locate that strong beat, that really helps to tell us what the time signature is. Alfonso's next question is how to accompany a singer when there is no sheet music. So basically this would come, the play by ear skills will come in. And while I do have an entire course on how to play by ear, you do need to learn up the song first. And so try to listen to the chords. We have 100 chord progression identification exercises inside the Inspired Keys Academy where you can practice listening to the song and identifying what chords they are. And it's actually easy enough to narrow down to 6 chords because there are really just 3 major and 3 minor chords that we need to learn to identify and to recognize, like, is that a major chord, is it a minor chord? So Alfonso, I will recommend going in there and training your ear, and once you listen to the chords, just play very simple chords, even though you have no sheet music, and that way it's possible to start accompanying somebody even though you don't have the sheet music. Another great way is a shortcut method is to basically go on YouTube and search piano tutorials for certain songs, and that's a great way to learn and play without sheet music as well. I am now going to quickly check our Facebook live chat to see if there are any questions. And Bruce says, hello from Hong Kong. Bruce, welcome. And yes, anyone who is watching live, you are very welcome to pop in questions. If you are an Inspired Keys Academy member, you can pop your question into our Facebook live video chat. The next question is from Ming Hui. And Ming Hui, who is from Singapore, says, how do I use 1 and 5 on Christ is enough? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out Ming Hui's recording on Christ is enough and then give a little critique on that. So let's have a listen.
I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. You cross before me, go behind me. No turning back, no turning back. Cause before me, go behind, no turning back, no turning back.
Okay, so at this point, Ming Hui and I actually had a conversation about how the tempo is a little bit faster than the original recording. So I'm not going to talk about the tempo, but I'm just listening to some other aspects about the way you played. Firstly, if you were playing and singing together, kudos to you, because I'm not even sure if I could sing and play so well. Well, then multitasking is just not my strength. What I'm hearing, though, is a lot of sort of muddy bass notes. So two things. Either you need to change your pedal cleanly so that you really erase all of the chords before. And because you're pretty fast, it does require a lot of very vigilant pedal changing on your right foot. And then the other suggestion would be to maybe not have such low or octave bass notes, because I think it's da da. Okay, G major. So da da da. Okay, so if I were to make my keyboard go an octave lower, because I have a 61 keyboard, 61 keys keyboard is really low. Da 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 da. Suggest really changing your pedal quite a lot, because there are lots of changes during this moment as well. I don't know if you're actually doing, like, that's really low, so maybe don't go that low. So yeah, currently I'm sort of hearing quite a few different bass notes clumped up together, so make sure not to do that. Okay, definitely at that point I can hear some overlapping notes. So yes, it is a sustained pedal problem. Please work on really lifting up your foot completely, or maybe changing every single time you change a chord. You got to change your sustained pedal to erase the previous chord's sounds. Otherwise, you do get an accumulation of, you know, like, not a very pleasant sound. Okay, great. So now that is your first recording, and I know Ming Hui sent another, so I'm actually going to just look for his other one and some comments on that. So let's listen to this one now. Okay, so at this point, this is where I'm not really sure, because I don't think it really sounds like Christ is enough. And then, of course, Ming Hui says, I was trying to follow the chords in worshiptogether.com. And then Minhui says there's an interesting 6 minor down there, which I had to consciously remind myself to play. And so I'm actually just going to load that Worship Together chord sheet because I'm not really sure if it might be correct or wrong. Sometimes a lot of these stuff are not correct. So okay, so this is in the key of B major. I think you were in G major, so okay, well, it's actually got very sort of simple kind of chords, Minhui. You should not need to worry about the 6 minor chords. So let me just listen to what you play again. Okay, so you are in the key of G, and the chord on Worship Together is actually in the key of B. Oh, hang on, you probably transposed. Okay, so hang on, let me just transpose it then. Okay, and you're doing the bridge, so you know, I think it could be you're doing the right chords, but you're just not doing them in the correct you're not changing the chords at the correct time, I think. Yeah, so at this point, I recognize that you are into the bridge section because that's where you're changing the chords more like the recording. Okay, so some pedal problems again. I heard some overlapping between the C and the D chords, so make sure to change your pedal nicely and cleanly, completely up and completely down every time. Lift up your foot to much higher and much lower. Yeah, so I can hear what you're trying to do. You're sort of doing like a quiet moment of just the bridge chords, but I'm hearing. Okay, so I think there's quite a bit of a D, G, and C, and then sometimes an F sharp going. I would personally probably not do it that way. I would probably do. I probably have like less movement on the top. So okay, so what I would recommend is that the rhythms should belong in predictable ideas. So right now, your rhythm, every single time you break the chord up into a different broken chord, so instead of like those chords are not broken, right? Your broken chords would be something like a. Okay, so I would like you to think of every rhythm as a motif and keep the motif quite predictable. So if I were to break my chords into da 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 da. Can you see how it's the same pattern? So I will like right? So that's da, 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 da. So all the rhythms are very consistent. What I remember hearing from you is that it's a little bit different every time. So I know you're trying to improv, and that is awesome. Now try to keep your improv quite consistent in a rhythm so that it makes sense when we listen to it. That it's not too different too many times. Going back to I'm not where you are again in this. I don't think it's the same as the Crisis Enough chord, so I'm not sure about this. Wow, I have to say, I really like and appreciate how you're trying to improv that line on the top. Dun, da, dun, da, da, dun, da, 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 dum, right? I really like it. Like, I think that's the way to go. Keep going on that. I might try to make the tune even more melodious. So maybe something like, let me just turn on my chording app. So so everything's kind of planned out and in a very improvised melody, and maybe something like that. Just gonna listen to what else you do at the end. Oh, that's a really nice way to finish. Dum, dum, dum. Okay, so what I'll do is before I conclude the Crisis Enough thing, I'm just gonna play a little bit of what I would do if I would have just improv this. I know you're not playing it in the same way as the recording where it's kind of like strong chords, because I remember the bridge being quite strong, right? So if it was like the recording, it would be, I have this at first it was just the G bass, right? I have this oh no, it was the G bass later. So I have this follow Okay, so now that's the like strong version according to the recording. But now your version was kind of like a improv free worship moment based on the bridge chord. So what I might do is I just kind of felt like I needed to sneak the tune into my right hand. So if you notice what I was playing was that I had a bit of the da 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 kind of tune, and then I tried to dress that up a little bit with some harmony notes. I put it on my top line, I put it in my middle line, and I kind of surrounded it with some harmony notes to fatten the sound up a little bit. And yeah, that's kind of what I felt like I needed to do if I were to do that section in a really quiet and improvised way. And I have no idea why it's getting quite cold, even though it is 11:03 a.m. So gosh, my fingers are kind of freezing. It's spring, should be warmer, but we are looking forward to some 22-degree days. So yay, happy about that. So thank you so much, Ming Hui. Now I know Ming Hui has more questions, so I'm gonna just jump on to the next of Ming Hui's question. And basically, Ming Hui says, can you also explain how to go about learning and practicing playing a song to progress in techniques, and what are the steps to follow? Okay, so when it comes to technique, we would typically think of things like scales, arpeggios, broken chords, chromatic scales, contrary motion, just thinking of the stuff I usually teach in piano lessons. And Ming Hui's asking, what are the steps to follow? Okay, I will suggest, Ming Hui, you need to know all the scales and arpeggios that I talk about inside the Inspired Keys Academy. So go and look at all the warm-ups and technique videos, courses in the Academy. And I will say a general step. Now, I guess ideally I would say learn all the scales and then all the arpeggios. And I think that would be a good step to follow, but make it a point to learn that as soon as possible. The thing is, I could perhaps relate this whole thing to like language. Okay, so music or piano and keys and playing in worship, it's a little bit like a language. You're trying to play something to communicate something. And I know we're all kind of advanced English speakers here, but let's just maybe pretend we're learning another language. I don't really want to point a specific language here, so I'm just going to use English again. So if you think about how we learned English when we started out, maybe when we were very young, or maybe if you are not a native English speaker and you need to learn English, we kind of need to learn the grammar rules and then vocabulary. What does this word mean? How do I use nouns, verbs, and stuff like that? And while it can be learned in a very systematic way, I think my general advice is to learn it as quickly as possible. So when it comes to scales, when it comes to arpeggios, learn it up as quickly as you can. Maybe give yourself something like 3 months. Give yourself 3 months to memorize them. Memorizing will really come in handy. It's kind of like when we learn how to use the English language, we've kind of memorized some of the rules on when I use the word I am, then the next word has to be ending with an going, like with an ing, right? I am go to the supermarket. No, I am going to the supermarket. So you kind of memorize that rule, and then you apply it every single time you speak, or you write, or you type, or whatever. And when we learn piano technique, we want to learn the technique and memorize it so that we can apply it into our playing as quickly as possible. So Ming Hui, give yourself maybe 3 months, or maybe the end of the year, because it's already September. We kind of have 4 months, a little bit less than 4 months to the end of this year. So tell yourself to maybe memorize all of the key signatures. So what you should be able to do is, if I were to say, Ming Hui, play me the E major scale, you should be able to go like, like really just go straight on. It's F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp, and then you gotta play that, and then you can use it on both hands. You can go up, you can go down, and when you can do that, then you can play choruses enough in E major. So and then but if the worship leader says, sorry, I want to do it in F major, so cool, you can I have decided, whoops, to follow Jesus, so you need to be able to be versatile in that. So I will suggest get it learned quickly as possible. Ming Hui's next questions, for example, at which stage should we apply different accompaniment patterns and think about adding in fills and other techniques, or should we memorize them? Yeah, you know what? I will highly suggest memorizing them first. So it's kind of like when we learn English words again, we kind of memorize the meaning of certain words, and then we put it in our brain to say, I'm going to try and use that in a sentence next time. When you've memorized these fills and these accompaniment patterns, you have more vocabulary. So then you can phrase things in an interesting way. You can play something in an interesting way. The less you have in that bank in there, then the less tools you have to work with. So I will highly suggest getting as much vocabulary stored and memorized. And even though it starts off being quite technical and boring in that sense, when you play though, you have really a lot more kind of stuff you can take out of your bag of I want to think of bag of tricks, but basically bag of techniques and ideas and motives and fills. So when you see the way I play, you guys don't see all the time that I was actually listening to music and then copying what some people do. So for example, I love Israel Houghton and his music. I've got some albums that are sort of etched in my brain as sort of my key or my core kind of worship keys shaping seasons where, I mean, we're talking 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I was introduced to his Live from Another album, Another Level album. I absolutely love the Jesus at the Center album. I absolutely love the Deeper Level, right? Like Deeper Level is the wedding song for our wedding. Can you believe that? So that's how much I love his band. I love Israel and New Breed. And when I listened to them, I was like, oh my gosh, I love what the pianist is doing. And so I spent like hours just listening and listening to, and we're talking not like just general listening. I actually sometimes sit down at my piano with my, I don't think it's Walkman by then. I think it's probably, but it's definitely not Spotify and YouTube. It was kind of DVD, right? And then I would kind of press play and then pause and then what did he do? And then try to replicate that. So Ming Hui, these are the boring times when no one kind of appreciates or sees and claps for you and go, wow, you're learning the vocabulary of what the Israel and New Breed keyboardist was playing, right? No one really claps for you for that moment. But when you've learned it up and then you can kind of throw it out there during your next time on stage when you serve, that's when people go like, oh my gosh, he sounds so good. And actually you kind of stole, I mean, it's not that you steal things, but you kind of got that from someone else, but then you put it, you memorized it, and then you did it in your own way. So what you hear, you know, the cool things, some of the stuff that I do, whether it's like, you know, these are things that I kind of stole from different places and listened to them. And then I'm like, oh, I like what you did. And I'm just kind of copy it and kind of memorize it. So it becomes part of my piano vocabulary. And so, yes, the sooner you memorize it, the better, and the more things you can use in your playing. Should we try to search on YouTube to find covers of the song and learn from there? So Ming Hui, I will suggest if you want, that's a great shortcut way to learn a song. So yes, go ahead and do that. And then once again, learn and absorb as much as you can from other people so that you can go like, oh, this sounds cool. I'm going to throw it, apply it in the next song I play. And then you have more vocabulary to use. So I really, really hope that helps, Ming Hui. And thank you for your wonderful questions. I'm going to just jump onto our Facebook chat to see if there are any questions. Veronica's in our chat. Hello, Veronica. It's awesome seeing you. So we've got different members hopping in and out of our live video. And please, if you're watching live as an Inspired Keys Academy member, please throw in your question in our live chat. Otherwise, I do have a couple more questions to go. David would like to learn how to play the melody for What a Beautiful Name and to use the metronome. So yes, I will be very happy to do that. But what I need to do is Google What a Beautiful Name metronome. So the BPM is 68. Cool. So what I am going to do now is to whip up my metronome app on my iPhone and just set it at 68. Okay, so this is for David, who wants me to play What a Beautiful Name. Oh, I just need to know the key as well. I think it's in the key of D. Yes. Okay, so. So because the verse and the chorus are the same when it's repeated, I'm going to go straight into the bridge. Second half. And the rest of the song continues with the same kind of tune. So I really hope that helps, David. Thank you for asking that, and let me know if you have any other questions about What a Beautiful Name. Now I'm going to move on to our last question that I have here, but there are David, thank you so much. David just added a well said. Thank you. I presume you're talking about the English vocabulary thing. I just feel like that's the best kind of analogy I can think of. So I'm going to go straight into my last question from Teresa, who requests, basically she didn't request to do that, but she did say that she's working on Curry Job's I Am Not Alone. So I decided, you know what, I'll just play it for you and let's see if it will help you with the way you play. So I'm actually going to have to use the YouTube video a little bit for help because I kind of remember the song, but I'm not extremely proficient in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and press play and get some help with the way it was played here. Okay. E major. Sorry, it should be.
When I walk through deep water, I know that you will be me. When I'm standing in the fire, I will not be overcome. Through the valley of the shadow, I will not fear. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You will go before me. You will never leave me. In the midst of deep sorrow, I see your light breaking through.
Okay, so most of the chords are the same, Teresa. It's really nothing to, I wouldn't say this is a really, really difficult song. You've got, and then, right, so, 2 minor, and then I think for this chord, he actually played it like with that E instead of an F sharp, so you would usually do like a, but I think I hear a, da, 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 da. So that's like the second half where you have that E, da, 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 and then da, 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 da. And so at the chorus chorus, there is quite a bit of movement, so you want to play it like that. So that movement's pretty important in between. I just want to zoom into the bridge section.
You call me as your own. You amaze me.
So basically there are two chords in the chorus, and the bridge is. So basically just two notes. So Teresa, really, really hope that helps. And let me know if you have any other questions about this song. So with that, at 11:19 a.m., it's been 1 hour, 20 minutes. I really need the toilet. So Steve, hello Steve for joining us. I really want to say thank you for joining us in our members only live Q&A. Once again, Inspired Keys is celebrating its 4th birthday. So those of you who are watching and you have not yet joined us as an Inspired Keys Academy member, I have great news for you. You can join the Inspired Keys annual membership for just $249 instead of $399. So it's a massive discount. And to do that, you just have to go to inspiredkeys.com/join and use the discount code HAPPY4TH, HAPPY4TH, and join the annual membership for just $249 a year. So in the Academy, you can access courses 24/7, get instant access to them. You can also get you can book a session with me to ask your worship keys questions one-on-one on a coaching call. You also get your questions answered on a live Q&A like this, and get critique for the way you play, which is a really quick way to improve. And yeah, so I really hope you'll jump on into the Academy. Thank you to all the Inspired Keys Academy members who did join us. And I don't see any other questions on our live chat in Facebook. And I'm just going to take a quick glance at the YouTube chat, and I do see a couple of people saying hi from different places. Thank you so much for joining us. Lucas says, do you know the keyboard intro for Your Name High by Hillsong? Well, I'll be very happy to work that out, but Lucas, you might want to join the Inspired Keys Academy so that I can answer your questions with priority. And yeah, so nothing really much that I need to respond to over there. So thank you once again for joining. I look forward to seeing you in our next YouTube, our next live Q&A. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, the rest of the morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in this world. Thank you again, and I hope you have an awesome rest of the day. Keep playing and keep serving God wherever you are. Take care and God bless.